I think today homes are definitely more polluted than the outdoor air is. We talk about the outdoor air so often, but we're so exposed to so much we don't realize it. And people are thinking of eating better, right? We can do without food, we could do without water, but we can't do without air, right? At the age of 21, I started doing artificial fingernails. It's kind of really interesting because I was more of a hippie, natural kind of girl, and I said, how did I end up doing artificial fingernails, right? I was so busy, I needed to hire someone to do nails. I was the only nail salon in Niagara County. People would ask, you can make a living doing nails? And as we see now, there are nail salons on every corner. After doing nails for probably about 10 years, I knew that I needed to get some type of a system. I started to become very hypersensitive to smells. I started to have a bit of a cough. There was like a fiberglass feeling on my lips, even in my nose. I could smell it on me. You could smell acrylic on the money. I knew that I needed to do something if I wanted to continue in the industry. And at that point, there weren't any regulations at all. I started with an ozone machine, which really was very peculiar because you had to be so careful. Sometimes we would actually feel like a little faint or a little woozy from it. My second salon, we had cookies at Christmas. The cookies actually, after sitting all day, I go, my gosh, the cookies smelled like acrylic. Of course, like anything else, you just start gathering information. I had a friend that, which I didn't know, was a representative for Austin. She told me that I could actually borrow her unit. It resonated with me that I definitely needed to have a system. My first Austin, it has to be maybe 15 years old, maybe 12 years old. It made such a difference. People would come into the salon and say, oh my gosh, it's, the air is so nice and clean. I trained a young girl here in Lewiston to do nails maybe 25 years ago, and she came to visit me. She said, Deb, when I come in here, the air smells, it almost smells sweet. I don't smell acrylic. A lot of those products we don't use any longer, but just because you can't smell something doesn't mean that it's less harmful. And I actually think that what's happened is, over the years, now there's so many products. So now, instead of being exposed to 4 or 5 chemicals, we're exposed to 20 chemicals. So yeah, it really does make a difference. I do have a monitor, so I can monitor my particulates and my VOCs in my home. I noticed that the numbers were really kind of off the charts. And it was prior to anyone even talking about the fires, really very noticeable. And so that is when I did get my second unit. I also started doing Airbnb out of my home. I've met some wonderful people. My guests always say about, really the house smells good, it's fresh. And, I think it does keep the dust down, keeps the air more healthy. There's no doubt about it. I'm also doing a little bit of home care now, and I notice when I go into people's houses how stifling the air is with all the fragrances and air fresheners, just really so much exposure. Coming home, it's just refreshing. Even when I leave their home, just getting outside, everyone should have an Austin. Probably several of them in their homes, the way that we live today. So vital that our air is good quality. It's just, it's really awesome. So Austin is awesome.